Hey guys, how's it going? This is my first time doing this, so please forgive the awkwardness. I'm stuck inside, as many of us are. Following the rules, following the protocols, social distancing, isolation, and I'm not leaving my house when it's not necessary, so here I am. It's resulted with a YouTube page. I don't know. We'll see if that's a good or a bad thing. So right now I'm working on a couple of abstract paintings. I've already done two. If you watched any of my Facebook live videos, you would have seen me doing this one over here, which you can't really see the entire thing. I'll maybe show it to you later. I then tried to do another one, and now I'm on to the third. And you can kind of see a little bit here. I am working within the same color palette, and there's the actual palette itself. I'm also sharing a chair with my cat, who is pushing against my back right now, trying to get me to leave the chair. So we're going to see if we can get along for a little while. And I'm going to do a very quick, very quick abstract painting. So I'm using gouache paint. I'm actually using Winsor Newton gouache paint. I really like gouache, especially for things like these fun little abstracts that I'm doing. They are sort of in between watercolor and acrylic, if I were to qualify them. If you've, a lot of people have heard of watercolor, a lot of people have heard of oils, and gouache is the one that I find not a lot of people have heard about. And so if this is your first time seeing it, well, you know, welcome to the medium. It's a newer one for me. I only just started painting with gouache in the last few years. I really enjoy it. It's more opaque than watercolor, which means that I can paint on top of other colors. I can layer colors. I can layer it in for more texture, and I really like that. I really like that about it. But it is also, it's water-based. It's really easy cleanup, easy to use. So I'm a big fan. Right now I have no actual plan, which is part of the fun. I'm just painting and taking you along for the ride. This isn't really an instructional video, so if that's what you were looking for, it's not really what this is. I'll tell you some things as I'm going along, but I don't know what you'll learn really. So as I said, this is actually the third painting that I'm doing. They're very small, hand for scale. They're very small pieces, and I'm just sort of putting some color down and going with the flow. I'm trying to keep all of them within the same color palette, as I mentioned. And in the end, my plan for them, I don't really have a plan for them. I guess I would really like to use them for other things. I want some new Facebook cover photos. That's a big one. That's really why I started this in the first place. I was looking at my cover photo, which is still Christmassy. Yikes. And I decided that I really wanted something new, and obviously something that I've painted. So I started on this project, and then I thought, you know, there's a really cool movement right now with a lot of artists who are doing their craft more than they usually do. Because we're stuck inside, we're being isolated. We're home from our day jobs. I have a day job that is not artists, so I am sort of afforded the opportunity to do more artwork than usual. And I don't know about anybody else out there, but I'm sick of Netflix. So I just thought I would start doing some live paintings, and that one thing led to another, and a YouTube channel was requested. I don't know. I know you can't really see the entire 2 pieces that I did previously, but you can see this corner. These polka dots here are actually navy blue. I don't know how good the lighting is, but I'm going to mix up some of that navy blue right now. I'm a really big fan of this color palette. And even though they're 4 separate pieces and I'm going to use them separately, but I really like having them all in the same color scheme. I find gouache paint has a sort of a chalky texture to it, which I love. It's absolutely a matte finish, and I really like that. I'm making navy, this navy color that I'm using. I'm mixing 2 different blues, primary blue and ultramarine blue, and I'm adding some just plain ivory black. I don't have very many colors. I don't have a huge collection of different tubes of paint colors. That's kind of a throwback to my old art teacher. She had a rule that we had to learn how to mix colors before we were allowed to buy a tube of them. And it was a habit that stuck. I buy the basics and I mix the rest. And I'm really thankful for that rule, because I think it has left me with a really, really good understanding of mixing paint and what colors mix to make what other colors and things like that. And truthfully, mixing paint is one of my favorite parts. I can just get lost in doing this right here, just mixing the paint. Actually, a little more white. And I've said this in many of my videos before, my Facebook videos, I should say, because you guys are here for my first YouTube one. But I really should have a separate palette for just white. I'm constantly, well, you can see I have blue paint on my brush right now, and as soon as I pick up the white paint, I leave a lot of blue behind, and then I don't have any more pure white to use with a different color. It's something that I do sometimes. I try to reuse recyclables, so lids of yogurt containers or things like that, and sometimes with the smaller ones I will actually use them specifically for white. There we go, that's a better color. So this is, as I mentioned, water-based paint, which means that right here, ugly color, but it is water. And I'm just using that jar of water to brush or clean my brushes off between colors. So I'm gonna see if I can pick up some of that white that doesn't have any blue. Yeah, I didn't do too bad. That absolutely still has blue in it. You can see it. Actually, I like the color though, so I'm going to go with it. We're Bob Ross in here. Happy accidents. I meant to mix up a very pale pink, and I ended up with a very pale purple, but I like it, so I'm going to leave it. And actually, I don't know if you can tell from that angle, but there's some streaks of blue through it. Very, very subtle, but I really like it. I'm going to use this very small brush and the navy that I mixed up before, which is still here. I think the snow is turning to rain now. That's not nice. It's really nasty out. Some of the things that I like to do in abstract, especially when I'm doing an abstract series and not just a single painting, I like to repeat colors, which, as you can possibly see, I've done. But I also like to repeat patterns. So, for example, these polka dots, I would really like to make it look like they are continuing into this painting. The repetition of patterns, it just makes everything feel a little cohesive, like it's all part of the same set, which it is. But also, if I were to frame these, it would look kind of funky. That's my official take on it. Kind of funky. I really like abstract painting. I always have. I feel like there's a lot of wiggle room there. If you want to push yourself to become a better abstract artist, you absolutely can. But you can also be very relaxed with it. You can try out new things, new brush strokes, new textures, new color combinations. There. Now, I don't know if you can notice that, but it looks like that's continuing. And I'm very happy with that. Another thing I really like about gouache paint is how fast it dries. You can probably see me putting my palette right on top of things that I've already painted, and it's not making any difference because everything is, that one's a little bit wet, that's the last one I painted, but these are dry, these are dry. This one has a little bit of wet in some of the areas where the paint was thicker. I'm going to switch to a little bit of a thicker brush here. So gouache being a little more opaque than watercolor means that I can layer colors like this. I can actually put the pink on top of the blue. I think I'm going to call it for now. And I might add a little more detail in pen later, but for now I'm going to stop. So I hope you enjoyed watching me paint.